What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the GINN podcast. This is your host, Gilbert Sanchez. If you're new here, as always, you can call me G, but I just first want to thank Recognition for you just listening and watching the last episode. Appreciate the support. I will always say it. It still feels so surreal to me when people actually listen, when I see the amount of people just downloading the episode, viewing the YouTube channel, even subscribing. Like it's crazy to me. But I mean, we all start somewhere, and this is gonna be bigger than I know it can. So we got a long way to go. This transition to the studio is still going. Like I said, I haven't got the fucking neon sign. I haven't got some lights I plan on put on here, but hopefully by the next episode we have it all set up and it looks dope. But yeah, we'll get right into it. This one is, I wanted to have basically a mental health episode last month, but everything with the studio was fucking crazy. The only reason why, I mean, obviously Mental Health Awareness Month was last month, so that was fucking huge. I mentioned it a couple times on my Instagram and the platform that I have. But I think one way or another, it affects somebody. So I figured, why not talk about it? Why not put out an episode, even though it's still not the month? I think it's very, very huge in every day, literally every day. So I don't think it matters what month I put it out in. But for this one, what's up, Tracy? How you doing,
What's
man?
up, man? Chilling, man. Another day, another dollar. You know what I mean?
I appreciate you coming down here, bro. But
Appreciate you for having me, man.
yeah, this I want to get into fucking the Bushes days, man, because that's how we met, dog.
Yes, bro.
And it's been a while, and I think both of us have met a ton of people through that spot, like
Bro,
throughout
lifelong friends, bro.
yeah, throughout fucking high school, college too as well. And it's just been dope just to see how far we've came. Not even, yeah, man, it's just wild because Bushes was a wild place, dog.
It was, man. Hey, but I think personally, like, it kind of paved the way for all of us to kind of learn how to grind and learn how to have that motivation and that mentality to go get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, it's weird you say that because, I mean, it's the place we're called is Bush's Chicken. So the one I worked at several ones. You did too, right? You
Yeah.
worked at several locations.
Yeah.
I think the two main one was for me, Petrenko and 151 for maybe about 3 or 4 years, and then after that was it was Southwest Military, and I think Somerset was the intersection.
Mhm.
That was the ending for me. But bro, Petrenko and 151, like, let me say 6 years ago was hell. When they first released Tender Tuesday, hell, bro.
That's back when it was $9.99, right?
Yes,
bro.
man. It was fucking hell. So I was a cook. I know you did some cooking too as well, server, cashier, but that's what I mainly did. I was mainly in the back for however long. But yeah, man, it literally taught you how to grind because it was fucking hot during the summers. You had shitty ass people as customers sometimes. Man, I was gonna say something too, but I totally forgot.
And I think too, like for me personally, I think one of the best things about Bushes was, like, even though it was a lot of like bullshit and a lot of like hard work, like almost every Bushes I worked at, like, I was cool with going because of who I worked for. You know what I mean? So I think that was a really big piece of it. So I mean, because I was at Bushes for 6 years. Because I mean, like I said, I started over there with you at Petrenko. We went to Southwest. And then I don't remember if you left or if you switched stores, but I actually went into management.
Oh,
so
shit.
yeah, so I managed, I was an assistant over at Culebra. Then I went to Southwest, Southeast, and then Southeast was where I stopped. But but I mean, I think the main thing is who we were working for. And I mean, no matter what the bullshit that was going on or whatever, like you always knew you had a shoulder to lean on or somebody to ask for help, things like that.
Bro, I learned how to wash dishes there. Like simple shit like that. Like people don't even realize how simple and shit, like how to fucking mop, how to sweep, how to clean tables, like normal shit that you need on your daily basis. Like that's where I fucking learned it at. And it's just weird when people don't have these like first jobs or, I mean, obviously times has changed. So teenagers are getting money a lot differently, but that's kind of just the basis of skills that I learned how to do at Bushes. So it's been fucking wild. Berto, if you're fucking watching, I need you on here. I've been bugging you for the past couple months. And yeah, one of these days I'm gonna make my way up there because if you're not coming down here, I'm gonna go up there.
Yeah, shout out that boy Berto for real, man.
Bro, he's been like I said, I've been bugging him, and the reason why, bro, he's
You went up there to help him open, right?
yeah. So
I was there too.
Fuck, when, bro,
That was I think in
I don't remember.
2018.
2018.
2019? I want to say probably 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
You did go. I remember that.
Yeah.
Bro, I didn't even remember that. You just brought that to my head. I totally forgot. But yeah, man, that boy's a businessman.
For sure. He's inspiration.
Yeah,
inspiration.
I tell him all the time. We message each other on Twitter all the time, just sending stupid shit to each other. But yeah, he's one of the people that kind of got me into the transition of changing your mindset, because he was always like, this shit's bigger. Like Bushes is bigger than what you're doing. Whether if it's life, whether if it's school, like everything was just so different when it came to Berto. So shout out to that boy.
For sure.
But this episode, like I said, mental health. I've talked about it before, and I want to have a show dedicated to these issues, because, man, even though people like on different platforms are talking about it, I still think it needs to be talked about more. Like these issues, everybody has them, and I don't think people realize how huge it is and how it can affect your everyday life. The amount of stuff that you can do when you don't have these issues, or when you're feeling some type of way, is so tremendous. So when you do feel anxiety, anxious, depressed, like any type of illness in your head, or, man, even like that, like I want to first start off as because we're both men, and being talked about mental health first and foremost when it comes to men is like, we're not supposed to have feelings. Like some of this shit, like this, like I don't know if you watch I Am Athlete podcast, but they always talk about this machismo type things. Like you're always supposed to be the man, and you're not having feelings, and crying is not allowed. And it's just that shit's changed, time has changed. And I think people are not starting to figure out, like, I mean, men have feelings too, bro. Like this shit is the way girls feel, or the way other people feel, is like, how are we not supposed to feel the same way? It will never make sense to me.
Yeah, and I think too, like a main point too is like, you know, I mean, you said it really good. You know, males are they have this picture that everybody paints for them, like, oh, you know, you got to be, you know, strong, which is true. I mean, it's true to a sense. I mean, a man has to be strong, a man has to be stern, but there's also a time where a man, I feel like, should be vulnerable. Maybe not to anybody, but to people that they feel comfortable around. You know what I mean? And I think that's an important piece too, is people that you're comfortable around. You know what I mean? Because you may think that you could be vulnerable around someone, and you say something and they don't give you the reaction that you want, and then that makes you feel even worse.
Yeah,
and then that makes you shut out more. And I think that's another problem that males have too, is it's not necessarily what to say, but who to say it to.
Yeah, man. I've like I said, I've mentioned it before, but it's I used to be very, very terrible at communicating with the girls in my relationships that I was with. Like, just I would zone out and just be mad at the fact that literally mad at the fact that I was not communicative. Like, I guess that was my way of showing, like, just being shut out. It's weird how I used to think that was okay, or that was normal, it was the right thing to do, but it was a total opposite. And I think that's kind of part of the failures of most of them. And it's bro, I wish someone would have told me, hey, be fucking vulnerable, let them know how you feel, and not even just relationships, but towards family members, towards friends. Like, having some type of communication with them is definitely superior when it comes to your friends and family, because they're right there with you at some point in time. If you have family and friends that are very, very supportive, I feel like they're very supportive. And when you can reach out to them for a hand, for just to fucking talk, just to vent, it's huge, man, because it shows what type of people they are. And yeah, man, I don't know if you can attest to that as far as...
I mean, yeah, for sure, man. I mean, like, I would say probably, and I mean, up till recently, probably, and when I say recently, man, I mean like the last 6 months. I mean, I haven't been in no serious relationships or nothing like that. Y'all get at me. But anyways, so I just know that when I would be in relationships, like, I would see something that I didn't like, right? And when it bothers me, my first thing to do would be to shut out, not text them back, not say nothing, you know what I mean? And just deal with it myself, you know what I mean? However that would be, you know, whatever coping mechanisms I had. I mean, you know, when I was a lot younger, my coping mechanism wasn't the best. It was drinking, which would make things worse. And I think basically, make a long story short, I would shut everything out and I would kind of just let it build up and build up and build up and build up to a point to where it was like, this is not good for me. It's not good for the partner. And it's just not good for my mental health. You know what I mean? And it just puts a lot more strain on everything I do. I started getting frustrated with simple things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like I get up and, you know, the water wouldn't get hot enough real quick when I get in the shower and I'd get upset. You know what I mean? Like, come on now, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I just think that that is because you build things up or you bury things down and it just puts more stress on you. But when you talk about them, I mean, they may not feel the same way you do, but if they don't know where you're coming from, how can they fix whatever you were mad at? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is just the understanding part. Like, hey, I don't understand. I mean, I understand where you're going through. I'm not going to say I know how that feels, but just be sympathetic for it. Like,
Exactly.
hey, let's do this to help you out. Let's go, I don't know, fucking shopping. Let's go to the park. Let's just take some shit out of your mind so we can maybe go for a walk in a park and talk and just vent out the issues. And maybe that will actually clear your fucking head. Simple shit like that is where, I mean, that was literally, I just had a real life example as far as what I did at one point in time. But I think it started to hit me I was whenever I was alone, like family and friends, they were there, but it was never like there. So moving into a new apartment was just so different, drastic. And like I said, when the pandemic hit, it was one of those things where I had to just really adjust at a fast pace and not having an outlet to go out, see family, see friends. It was just like, fuck, I'm stuck. Anyways, I just had no outlet for me. So I think those were the main things. And it actually started for me. I'll tell a story real quick because I don't think I've ever said this. And hopefully he's listening. But that story that I went on a walk, this was like mid last year. It probably was more towards September, October. And we're just to give you some context, we're at the park off of Pearsall and I think Military. That's kind of the intersection, but there's I think it's called like Pearsall Park. Me and this buddy were running in. We just got to talking and we talked about how pretty much I would wake up in the middle of the night I don't know if I was dreaming. I don't know what was going on, but there was a certain point in time where I told him like I woke up, grabbed my fucking gun and was ready to like shoot somebody. Not me, but just shoot somebody because I thought someone was after me. I was so paranoid that someone was after me. And he just basically said, he was just like, bro, I truly think that you haven't got adjusted to being alone. You're so comfortable with someone being next to you, sleeping next to you all the time, 24/7 with the female, or even with your family before you even moved out. Like it was just so constant that whenever you did move out, you just weren't adjusted. And that's when it started to hit me like, hey, these feelings are definitely not normal. They're happening for a reason. And I think once I started to get in tune with myself and figure out how I can cope with these mechanisms, it was just a lot better after that.
But I also think too, like it's I don't really know what to call it. I mean, like when you eat some food that you don't like and you end up liking it, like an acquired taste. I think the same thing goes with being alone. It's something that's not everybody, you know, and the pandemic too, like, but it teaches you a lot, you know what I mean? And I think even for your situation, and I know you'll probably agree, but you needed that, you know what I mean? To be able to, because you pretty much, I mean, and I, you know what I mean? I don't live inside your head, but I feel like that kind of taught you how to deal with things, you know what I mean? Or to be more comfortable with dealing with things, because a lot of times when you're with other people, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, you can kind of just like lean on them and not really worry about what's going on with you and just kind of like, oh, well, I got this person, you know what I mean? But when you're alone, it's all you.
Yeah, man, like simple shit or, complex shit too as well. Like, whether if it came to money, to my feelings, to relationships, like all that shit had a huge play in being alone. I was always doing it with somebody for the past 10 years. And it was just so fucking new. Like I had no idea what I was going into. being alone because, like I said, for the past 10 years, everything was 50-50. So like money wise, that's one of the shit. I mean, granted, I was making enough money, or I made enough money back then. I mean, I say back then, but this is 2020. This was last year, but it was just transition, bro. Like I learned how to be cool with being alone, how to watch movies by myself, how to fucking, I mean, just go to restaurants by myself, just simple shit like that. That is just looked down upon. Just like fuck,
That's important.
You're doing shit by yourself. Like you should be with somebody. But I don't think it should be like that anymore. What do you say the biggest struggle for you is though?
I mean, I would say the biggest struggle for me probably is just maintaining a healthy mindset, probably just because, I mean, like, man, back when I was 18, my best friend got killed, man. And I think that was probably the root of most of my anxiousness and depression as well, and I think that by going through that, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, whenever that happened, I turned to drugs. I did a lot of drugs. I would probably say for probably about 3 years, man, I did a lot of drugs. I mean, not nothing crazy, but I mean, I smoked a lot of weed and I drank a lot of alcohol. And I found myself one day, I was actually at Bush's, and I found myself one day, didn't have a ride to work. I was struggling, and I had no gas because my friend said they'll take me. Didn't have no gas money. Why? Because I spent it on drugs. And I was like, something's got to change. You know what I mean? So I made a change. I cut back on the drugs. And once I did that, I started seeing myself feel better. And the reason why I say that is not because I'm not saying that smoking weed's bad or anything like that, because I don't think it is. But I think whenever you use it as a hobby or as what you want to do for fun, I think that's when it starts to affect you, because you could smoke weed, I mean, hey, smoke your weed. I mean, it's not bad, but I think my struggle was I didn't have a hobby. I didn't have something to turn to be able to release my my stress or my anger or whatever. So I'd smoke. And when you smoke, I mean, weed's a depressant. I mean, you're smoking all the time, and it's just, it's not going to do what you want to do in the long run, maybe in the short run. But so what I did is I found video games, started playing video games. I started streaming on Twitch. Follow my Twitch, Tracy Bands. I started streaming on Twitch, and I noticed that I started looking forward to things a lot more because I was enjoying what I was doing. So once I started doing that, things got a lot better, man. And I just think that for anybody that's struggling with any type of mental health issues, the best thing to do is to find a hobby, whether that be working out or playing video games or, going to the park. I don't know if you have people that have dogs, go walk your dog, things like that. But those are the best things to do. Now, like I said, I mean, if you want to smoke weed or whatever, that's cool, but just don't make that your hobby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bro, I just want to touch, like, buying weed is expensive.
For
bro.
sure.
Like, this shit, you gotta have a budget for that. Like,
Dead ass.
I've never been the type to be against weed. Because I mean, my brothers and sisters do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
I think that was just a part of my life growing up. Like, you're just around it and you just got so used to it. So
yeah, for sure.
I've just never been against it. And now that it's becoming more legal and I've seen more good side effects towards certain people. I mean, other people just use it for like recreational use and hobby shit. But I was telling my sister, not my sister, my brother a couple months ago, like, bro, because he was talking to me just basically how, this is way off topic, but just basically how he has to budget in his fucking weed. Like,
that's crazy.
And he was just asking me, like, what should I do? I was like, bro, just stop smoking weed, or like at least cut it out. Like, stop buying so much.
100%.
Like, you'll save money.
100%.
And it's just funny, man, because they're depending on where you get it from, how much you get. If you go to California, Las Vegas, shit where it is legal, that shit is super expensive. But yeah, man, I want to transition into social media, like the game
It's the
of
worst part.
social media and the type of man, just the type of shit that goes on that can cause somebody to commit suicide, bro. That's basically what it comes down to. I think that's the worst part. That's whether if it's famous people, whether if it's normal people like you and us, or even everybody in general, I think has some play in that. But I think trolls is kind of the huge part, like just people finding just fun and seeing other people like be hurt or cry or get mad just to feel that reaction. I guess it's some type of high for them. But Yeah, social media has man, there was actually I'll say the story real quick. I had to take a couple of days off of social media. Like this was recently, bro. Like last week, I
Mhm.
took like 3 days off because it wasn't even the part that came with the trolling or anything like that or the shit I saw. It was just the type of energy it took to like post certain shit, tweet out certain things, and make videos and edit them and then post them. Like that shit takes time. And it was to a point where I was doing it for 3 weeks straight of posting. I mean, we were just talking about it before. Like,
Like the reels and
yeah,
stuff.
the reels, like I was posting those like maybe about 2 or 3 a week. And that shit was tiring. Fucking took like it was timing for sure. So I was just like, you know what, fuck, let me take some time off of that. And yeah, man, that's when I started writing the scripts that I was talking about. Like I wrote 10 in like 2 or 3 days, and it was just haven't even recorded them because just haven't had time. But I just used that time to take away just to fucking figure out where you're going, man. Like figure out like keep yourself on track. And I know, yeah, I'm sure you can kind of agree with that too as well.
Oh, for sure, man. I think social media, in my opinion, like social media is a blessing and a curse. But the thing that I believe is one of the biggest problems about social media is anybody can go on social media and paint this picture of whoever they want to be. You know what I mean? Which, like I said, is a blessing and a curse. I mean, people can use it for good and people can use it for bad. But not only that, but a lot of people nowadays search for everybody's validation. And when they don't get that, it makes them sad and it makes them feel like, well, what am I doing wrong? Or why am I not doing what they're doing? But it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter what they're doing or what he's doing or what, Sarah's cousin's brother's doing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it matters what you're doing. And if you're on social media, I mean, use social media for what it is. It's just to post and interact with your friends and things like that. And people get lost in social media, I think, a lot of times because people turn to social media like it's their therapist. But I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm just gonna say it right out. Nobody on social media really cares what you're doing. I mean, it's 100%. I mean, if they're not I mean, you know, how many good friends would you say you have?
social media.
No, 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 no. Like
Oh,
real friends in real life.
oh, what I just mentioned, 9.
Yeah, and how many followers do you have?
This is I think at most like 700
Yeah.
or like total.
Now let that sink in
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like you're tweeting for all these people, but really in reality, you have 9 friends you can turn to. See, me, I don't have that many friends. I probably have like 4.
yeah,
So basically what I'm trying to say is those people don't necessarily, I mean, they may care to an extent, but you don't need to impress those people. You don't need to impress anyone. The only people you need to impress are your family, your friends, the people that actually care about you. And if you get lost from that, those are a lot of things that take a toll on you because I found myself in that hole of
yeah,
trying to impress people on social media or trying to tweet funny things or, just trying to make people laugh and stuff like that, which is cool. But like at the end of the day, like I feel like social media is just really bad, honestly.
yeah, man. It's like you said, it's a two-way street, bro. You can go both ways, and I'll be the first one to tell you. I was having a conversation with one of my buddies. His name is Juan, and I was just basically telling him like there was a couple. I was gonna say a couple months, but it was actually a couple years where I was just going on this streak of trying to get validation from somebody. So validation from social media, I should say that. So having the biggest thing was having the newest shoes. Like I've always been a sneakerhead. I've always bought shoes since fucking the 10th grade. So that was never an issue, but it just started to get out of hand when I was buying 10 a month just to post on Instagram, post on Twitter, just to get that fire emoji swipe up, just to get that, damn, that's a badass cop. Like just shit like that. When in reality, man, like I haven't, it's just so slowed down over since like 2018, 2019. Like it just slowed down so much. But there was a point in time where I just used to go to the mall before a party just to get the freshest shirt,
Hmm.
just to get validation. Like, hey, damn, that's a fresh ass shirt. Like that's cool as fuck. But like, bro, go to fucking Old Navy, get a shirt, use that shit for the fucking a whole year, and just keep wearing it. Like, no one fucking cares. I don't fucking care. I don't care what it is, bro. And just to go back off of people that like social media and the following you have, yeah, 9 times out of 10, people don't care.
Mm-mm.
People don't fucking care because
Nope.
they have other shit to worry about, bro. Like they have kids, they have their family, they have their friends. Like there's so much things that people are doing, and they just Yeah, man. It is what it is. I will say this though. The only, and I've said this before on the podcast, the only thing that I take from social media when it comes to like people interacting or anything like that is what like if I can do anything better.
Mm-hmm.
So like basically, I mean, obviously this platform is a podcast. So like if I had a friend reach out to me via Twitter, he just said the audio was uh was getting better. So I was just like, bet that's dope. Like I've seen the
Hell
progression.
yeah.
A couple months ago, the videos weren't as best as they were now. And I think somebody had reached out to me and was just like, hey, you can do this in Final Cut Pro. Like just little shit like that. That's just where I kind of use social media as. And then obviously the motivational type shit. Like I've always been a motivational type person. So the reels and stuff is what I mostly try to focus on recently. But yeah, man, this game is different, man. People get so lost, and especially I think for sure. I mean, we just had. You can say her name. I have no idea how to say it.
Oh, Naomi Osaka?
Yeah, Naomi Osaka. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
So she just recently. I don't know if you want to cover it because you're more probably.
Yeah. So basically, there's this tennis player, and I mean, she's one of the youngest to. I mean, she beat Venus Williams a couple years ago in the French Open. I mean, she's doing crazy things like, you know, her, and there's this other tennis player. I can't remember her name. She's black as well. I can't remember her name, but they're doing crazy things. And so basically what happened is she's been feeling, you know, depressed lately. I mean, you know, she hasn't really talked about why or what's going on, but basically what she did is she told the tennis that she wasn't going to go to a press conference, and they fined her $15,000. And the reason why she said she wasn't going to go to a press conference is because she was feeling depressed and she was dealing with mental health issues, and they fined her $15,000. And I just think for her to not only be a famous tennis player who's on the come up, but to be an African American woman, to be able to stand up for herself, I mean, that speaks measures. And I got so much respect for her for being able to do that. And I think that brought to the spotlight a lot of things of mental health. And not only that, but people who have, you know, millions of dollars. You know, money doesn't change what goes on inside your head. It just doesn't. I mean, it may change the things that you wear and things that you drive and the things that you live in, but it's not going to change what goes on inside your head. And so she got a lot of backlash for deciding to not go to the press conference from whatever tennis match it was. So she was getting a lot of backlash. And so she said, you know what, I'm going to step away from tennis for a while. So she withdrew from the French Open, which I don't know if you guys watch tennis, but the French Open is one of the biggest tennis events ever.
Yeah.
Like that goes on. So then once she did that, she started getting backup from, you know, I seen Steph Curry come out and tweet. I seen Russell Wilson come out and tweet. You know, I've seen a lot of people saying, hey, we got your back. We respect what you're doing. Basically because her own sport, her own organization, the people that, you know, sign her checks were not even on her side. And I think she had a lot of courage because I'm pretty sure she knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, man. I think when you get towards, I think so that's probably the biggest part. I think when you're in an organization that writes your checks, you don't know if, hey, if I do this, am I still going to be paid in the future? I think that has to deal with a lot of people. Football, basketball, like some of these people are not. But NBA is a little bit different. I think they have more guaranteed contracts in the NFL. But like for instance, the NFL, if someone comes out and says, "Hey, like I'm having mental health issues," and they step away from the game, sometimes they're not getting paid, bro. So that's just leads to their family not being fed and mortgages, bills, all this type of shit. So that's just kind of the base is a small bottom portion. The other thing that you kind of hit on is the money. Like once you start getting money and start, I guess, getting fame, I feel like people on social media and just people in general they just think you don't have feelings anymore. Mm-hmm. Like this shit is not you have 10 million in the bank. What you sad for? Like you can go to fucking Bora Bora and live out. Like, but that shit don't matter.
Nah.
Like I think you'll find out real quick once you start getting money. It's that shit will not bring you happiness. And I if you've heard I think this was like my third or fourth episode. This was like maybe in April. I said money does bring you happiness, but after those issues, I was having in the year I had last year financially, it was one of the worst times in my head that I've ever had. The most money I've ever had, but the worst time in my fucking head. So yeah, it was.
It's crazy that you say that because I was just thinking the same thing. I was trying to think of in my lifetime the most
Yeah.
money that I've had, and I think that's probably when I was the most sad.
Yeah, bro. Like it was, and I think I said this on Steph's podcast. Like it was I damn near doubled my or like tripled my money last year from previously in 2019, bro. It was the fucking saddest, the maddest, the shittiest, the way I felt. Money, bro. I could have easily bought a couple shoes, went to the mall, cashed out, and bought whatever the fuck I wanted. But like that shit wasn't gonna make me happy, man. Like it really doesn't. And I think when these people say those type of things, as far as you having millions of dollars and you're not supposed to feel sad, how the fuck are you supposed to dictate what someone is supposed to feel? Like that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, if no, that's nobody's job to do.
Yeah.
And I think I saw something on Twitter one time that really, spoke volumes to me. And we were talking about it earlier. As I saw somebody comment, it was a Karen. They commented on Naomi Osaka's tweet, and they were like, "Hey, your net worth is so and so. I think your net worth is like 17 million or something like that." And they were like, "Your net worth is 17 million. Like, what are you crying about?" And I mean, I turned my head when I saw it. So I started reading the comments because I'm just curious as to how many people really think like that. You know what I mean? And I saw a comment that jumped out to me. It said, Robin Williams' net worth was $57 million when he killed himself. And I mean, you don't really need to speak anything more of it. I mean, that just tells you right there. I mean, hey, Robin Williams was a comedian. He was somebody who made people laugh. He was somebody who was warm to be around, somebody who people felt good just seeing on the TV screen, you know what I mean? But nobody ever knew what was going on in his head, you know what I mean? And he hung himself.
Yeah, man. And I think, man, maybe I can't speak for most people, but maybe some situations. And I just think for that, maybe that's person or those people that think like that, maybe they just haven't been in have those issues before where they can't feel what she's feeling or what we're feeling or what we felt. And I think that's where the kind of them being naive to the feeling like I just or maybe they have and they're just like, fuck, money will fix my issues.
I mean, or it could kind of go back to what we were talking about earlier as to like just the same thing as people paint this picture for males as we have to be tough and strong and things like that. But I mean, I feel like rich people are painted as to, oh, you got everything. Like, why are you stressing? You know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, hey, I mean, Diddy said it best, man. More money, more problems. You know what I mean? Like, and it's true. You know what I mean? I mean, and I have a buddy who he's friends with a football player, and he was telling me, man, every single week, I have people that I knew in 7th grade, like DMing me, hey, like what's like wanting handouts and stuff like that. And he was like, and I have to tell him no. And he was like, I was once cool with that person. I've even had to tell my brothers and my cousins no for money. He said, and that stuff hurts me. He said, can I give him the money? No, I can't. I don't even manage my money anymore. I have a financial manager, but that hurts. That makes me sad, but I can't do it. You know what I mean? And that's a problem that we don't have. You know what I mean? Or I mean, I don't know your situation, but I mean, I just think that's something that's another thing you got to think about. Those are problems we don't have.
I think the biggest thing for me with that is, I mean, I've had family members reach out to me for money, and it's just like, 9 times out of 10, I'll say no, and for a couple of reasons.
Same.
Because there is, depending on the situation for sure, but if it's just, I think the fuck, I'm trying to figure out how to say this without being a dick.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah, so maybe I'll say it the way fucking I Am Athlete podcast said it. Basically, I think it was Brandon Marshall, who was just saying like, hey, I've had family members come up to me and ask for money, but when have they ever came out with a business plan and then asking for money? Like, show me something that you're going to be structured at. Show me something that's going to make money in the long run. Show me something that's going to be beneficial for the both of us. And maybe I'll dish out that 10, 50, $100,000 like that. Like that's where the kind of the mindset comes from. Like,
yeah, but most of the time they just want a handout.
Yeah, granted, people do have issues, and there's been some issues within kind of just my family, and I mean that's totally different. But like most of the time, it's just like, why aren't you asking for this? Why aren't you creating a business plan or buying some type of assets? And I mean, we're getting older, and that's just the shit I think people need to start thinking about in our age, is just being financially wealthy and free. Honestly, that's just the way I think about it. But I mean, yeah, man, even for them, I'm sure it's way worse because they have so much more money than we do. So it's yeah, it's I'm pretty sure they go through that shit every day.
And then another thing too is just kind of staying on the topic of like rich athletes and things like that. I mean, we could tie that into what we were talking about before with social media. I mean, you got people on here that see these famous people, wearing this Gucci and the Balmain and the VVS chains and stuff, and people want that so bad, you know what I mean? And they don't have it, and you know what I mean? And my dad always used to tell me something that I used to always get mad at him for telling me. I always would get mad at him, but I mean, he's right. He was like, you want to be a famous football player, you want to be a famous basketball player. He said that's when opportunity meets preparation. He was like, you got to work for that. You know what I mean? He said, you see LeBron James on TV 3 times a week, you know what I mean, doing his thing. But I guarantee you for, I don't know, we say like 90 to 100 hours a week, when those cameras aren't on, he's putting in the work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people get on social media and they're like, oh, hey, I want that. I want that. And it makes them sad. You know what I mean? But what are you going to do to go get that? You know what I mean? That's a big part of it.
Yeah. The athlete part, like these NFL players or these people that are very skillful as what they do, they've been doing it for so fucking long. And people just see whenever the camera turns on, whatever is being recorded, like you said, they're not seeing the work that's putting in, the issues they're having, the family time that they're not getting, just everything that comes with being so good at what you do.
And you know what that could lead to? Depression and anxiety.
Exactly. It all plays a tie, man, and it's fucked up. And I think it's good though that we're having this conversation and other people are starting to realize that these issues are not healthy. I think social media has, like I said, it's the good part about social media because it's about awareness to it. I was gonna say like 9 to 10 years ago, if you would have brought this up, it would have been like, I don't think we would be having this conversation because it wouldn't have been looked at. I
don't think I would have felt comfortable reaching out to you. You know what I mean? Like it's just we're in a new day and age where it's like, if I'm feeling like this, somebody out there is feeling 10 times worse than me. And maybe if Lil Jimmy out there tunes into the GINN podcast and he sees us talking about this, maybe that gives him the inspiration to talk about it or to, things like that. And I just think that even if we could just touch one person or 2 people, you know what I mean? Like it's for the best.
Yeah. I always say that, bro. It's like, if I can help one person out, like literally with anything, any advice I can give, that's my job is done. But what are some ways that you kind of have been coping with these mental health issues?
Well, I would say probably the main thing for me, man, is just staying busy, man. Because when you get on that bed and you get in that social media and you fall into that hole, man. But staying busy, man. I have a regular job. I work 7:30 to 4. And I also stream on the side. Like I was saying, I stream from 5 to 10. But when I get off work at 4, I go run from 4 to 4:45. You know what I mean? And I think that that's because I work from home.
Yeah.
And for everybody that's working from home, this is another important thing that I wanted to talk about because you can get. That's another way that I fell into depression is being at home, living by myself, just me all day long, and it gets tough, and you don't have anyone to talk to, and so finding something to do, stay busy, you know what I mean? I've picked up things. I've started cooking.
Man.
I run. I play video games. Like even sometimes, man, like the other day, man, I literally ripped my room apart and just rearranged it and started cleaning things. And, it's just, I think the biggest thing for me is just staying busy, but staying busy doing healthy things.
Yeah.
Because, of course, you could, get off work and drink and smoke, which I definitely do drink. I'm not going to say I don't.
Yeah.
But, I think that staying busy and keeping yourself healthy and keeping your mind healthy and those things are, you find things that you never really knew that you liked. Yeah. And it keeps your mind off things like that. And it makes the day more enjoyable.
Yeah, man, we're all grown here. I'm sure that everybody listens to this podcast is somewhere between the age of like 18 or maybe even a little bit younger than that. But just, they know about drinking and drugs. So it's not nothing new to them. But yeah. We all drink, we all smoke. Like I'm not going to shy away from that. We can talk about that shit on the podcast. But even 100. To me, bro, like this is funny. I got fucking drunk like 2 weeks ago, but it was just that.
So I got drunk last night.
Like I hadn't done that in a few months, actually. Like I hadn't felt that fucking faded in a while, but structure it. I wouldn't say doing that shit. I think every so often, man, honestly, I've seen people on social media drink like fucking 5 to 6 times a fucking week, and that shit looks super unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Amount of money you're spending, the energy it takes, the type of dangerous shit you're doing, like driving home drunk is fucking, that's a terrible thing. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's just shit that I've seen on social media that's fucking crazy. Um, but yeah, for sure, keep busy, finding a structure, and I think
That's a great word, structure.
your time management as far as doing shit throughout the day. Like, I mean, you wake up and you're going to your job, and then right after you're just staying busy. Like you go do whatever, whether it's running, cooking, cleaning, but having that option as far as doing the right thing. You could easily just go to the Villa Road down your street and buy a fucking, I don't know, whatever you drink and just chill for the rest of the day. Go to your streaming, but just that drinking part comes out, and
Yeah,
it's just
and I think I want to be transparent with you guys, with all you guys that are watching. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the most perfect person, because I'm not. I mean, in the past I've drank a lot, man. And I think the main reason why I wanted to get on this podcast and talk is because I've recently learned how to shy away from that. And not only shy away from it, because I mean, it's hard to stop doing something that you've done for so long. But whenever you get out of that and you find things that are better for you and make you feel even better, it's a really good thing, man. And I think that's really important to do. And for anybody at home who, drinks a lot or smokes a lot, and, they want to stop, but they don't really know how, find something that you love to do. And if you don't know what it is, just try things out. I never knew I liked cooking. I mean, I just cooked something one day. Well, actually, I was actually hanging out with a girl one time, and she cooked something, and she inspired me. Hey, I should learn how to cook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
I mean, bro, that you fucking, you pinned it on the fucking tail, man. Like, if I always get asked, like, how did you find out like you wanted to do podcasting, or like how like you find out like you liked or loved to do podcasting? And I was like, bro, I just did podcasting, and I just, from there the passengers fucking flew. I did.
yeah.
A year and a half ago, if you would have told me, I would have been doing podcasts, uploaded 60, 70 episodes, and I would have said, you're fucking crazy. Like, there's no way I'm doing that. I'm not talking like but at a certain point, I started to realize like, hey, I like doing this. There's a rush that comes with it. And everything just became so fucking natural, where I just show up, set up these cameras, set up these mics, and we just have a dope conversation. Had no idea what this was, something that I ended up loving. So if you were trying to figure out what you like doing, just try different shit. Pick here and there. Start like whatever you find interest in, do. Like if you obviously don't do shit you don't want to do, but if you find interest in whatever,
don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid. Start painting, start going to the gym, start fucking go paintballing, find that rush in that. Like, do something. Like, it's just, I think there's a lot of things to be to have some interest towards. So, but that's a great point, bro.
Yeah, I was watching my boy linked me a TED Talk, and I was watching this TED Talk, and it was about this guy. On the TED Talk, he's painting, right? And while he's painting, there's this lady on the podium who's kind of like asking him questions, and she asks him, she's like, hey, so like, how did you stumble upon painting? Like, how did you find that as a hobby? And he was like, well, I wouldn't say I chose painting. I would kind of say it chose me. He was like, because I was going to school, and he said, I got bored one day and teacher's talking, and he said, I started doodling in a journal. And he said, by the end of that school year, I had doodled in 5 journals. And I was like, okay, I like doing this. We need to, kind of figure out where we're going to go from this. And now he's a big time painter.
Yeah, man. It's weird to say how you can stumble upon so many fucking things. Like, I mean, we've all been playing games for a while. Like, I think our generation came up with gaming from where it was like the PS2 back in the day, or even the fucking PlayStation.
But I think that whenever we were younger, it was frowned upon more.
Yeah, there was no way of monetizing it for sure. Yeah. Like, now it's a fucking probably $1 billion industry. I'm not too sure, but it's a huge industry now, and there's fucking kids making millions of dollars. Corporations are dishing out this money for whatever reason, but it's finding that notion of like, hey, I like doing this. Like, I'm talking about gaming. I like doing this. I can potentially get paid, or I am getting paid already. Let's go ahead and run with it. And then there's different games that come out. You fuck with that even more. You're like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm fucking with this game. You start playing, you start getting good, and then it's a fucking a good domino effect from there.
Yeah, man. And I also think too, and I mean, just kind of staying on the gaming topic. I think that it's also important to say, like, you know, because I think a lot of times too, whenever, I mean, if it's not basketball or football or things like that, I think African American people, Black people think that, you know, maybe that's not my type of lane or anything. But I think that, you know, I don't see too many Black gamers. I'm gonna just say straight up, famous Black gamers. So I'm encouraging, you know, if you guys like to play video games, I mean, try it, man. Just like we were talking about earlier, like you can't be scared to jump into something. I mean, like I'm telling y'all, man, I jumped into streaming. I have 22 followers on Twitch, man. Like I'm not the biggest. I stream Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? I'm gonna stick with it and I'm gonna see where it goes. But I just think that you shouldn't be scared. You should try it out. You know what I mean?
No, man. I like. We'll end with this, bro, because this is a huge conversation that people ask me all the time. Well, not people, but like maybe about 2 or 3. But anyways, they just say like, how do you deal with having, like, I think at the time of this recording, if I go on my phone right now, I'm pretty sure it's like 123, 124 subscribers on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously that's not a lot, but I mean, that's 123 people getting a notification to their phone that I uploaded a new video. They can easily just share that to somebody else, word of mouth. I mean, granted, none of these, I can have one and I'll still be doing this shit. Don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying, like, this shit, people worry about the followers a lot sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the biggest thing is just the message, or just finding out that you're just doing it because you like doing it.
But I think that, man, what you just said, bro, that's very true. And the reason why I say that is because authenticity and being genuine is something that you can't get from every podcast or every stream. And I was talking to my boy the other day, and it's like I was telling him, like, man, I go on because what I like to do is I like to show love. Whatever it is. So when I go on Twitch, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go find people who have like 2 or 3 viewers or 5 viewers, and you can tell the people who are doing it because they love it. And then you can go turn around and you can go watch somebody who may have 10,000 viewers, and you can just tell like they're not doing it because they love to do it. And I think that is something that would get more people to watch you. Mm-hmm. They can see that you actually love doing this. And like you said, you know, you do this even if you had 1 follower, and that's important, because if you're doing it for the clout and the fame, then you're not being authentic. Yeah,
man. There's a podcast, I think it's called like Millionaire Mindsets. And he was just tweeting last week how he was doing the podcast for about a year or 2, and he didn't even want to monetize it. He could have easily just monetized it within 6 months. He didn't start monetizing or making money off it until like 2 or 3 years. And it's I'm lying. I think he was like 1 or 2 years. But it's just he was just doing it just to get the message out, like the information. And I think that's honestly what I'm trying to do. And like I said, I've told you plenty of times before, that's why I make those reels. That's why I do the shit that I do. Like, none of this shit is it's just all for the people. Like, I've found out that karma is real, and if you help people, that shit will come back 10 times more.
100%.
And then I think that's the way people should live at a certain point in time, because there's people out there that don't live like that, believe it or not. But shit, Tracy, anything you want to plug before we head up out of here?
I mean, shit, man. Y'all follow my Twitch, man. Tracy Bands. Tracy Bands on Twitter. And then also anybody watching that knows me, if you guys are ever going through anything, or you guys feel that you don't have anybody to talk to or nobody to go to, man, my DMs are public for people that don't even follow me, man. Y'all reach out to me, man. And, you know, if y'all need somebody to talk to or somebody to link up with, let me know, man, because I think as men, and I mean women too, but I think as men, it's just not as it's not as normal for us to talk about things, and you might not feel comfortable going to your girlfriend or your mom or your dad or things like that. But I'm here for everybody, man, and I wish all y'all the best.
Like I said, I've always been a mental health just advocate for sure. And I've always been, like I said, my DMs are open too, man. Go ahead and you can fucking email me. I will respond back. I know there's some times where I won't get to you like 2 or 3 hours because I just doing shit, but I will get back to you. My shit's open too as well. If you this has been a good one, bro. I just want to shake your hand, dog. Yeah, bro. This has been dope. Again, I'll link all his shit in the description. Obviously, y'all can go ahead and follow me, Tracing Brands, one more time. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Guys, this is going to be it. We'll see you on the next one. Deuce.